Jen, if you would do us the honors of getting started and just tell us a little bit about your experience as an entrepreneur.
Sure. So when I said Bridesmaid for Hire, a lot of your faces were like, what is that? And also that must be so cool because you get to go to weddings and dance and meet people, and it's really an interesting job. But the way I started it is actually a little bit more interesting. So I majored in poetry. I graduated college about 5 years ago. I have no business experience. I didn't even know I wanted to start a business. One night, 2 friends asked me to be a bridesmaid in one day. By this point, I was 25 years old, and I was actually broke because all of my money was tied up in bridesmaid dresses and bachelorette parties to places that I had no interest in going to because you can only go to Vegas so many times before it gets really old. I had no money. I was pouring it all into being a bridesmaid. All of my friends graduated college and got married by 23. And I was like, oh, no way. I can't even get a third date, let alone a full-time job. My resume looked like a haiku rather than something that I could ever present to a business. I was very, very lost. So at this one particular night 2 years ago, I had 2 friends ask me to be a bridesmaid. But the weird thing was, we weren't really that close. It was almost as if they were asking me because I was good at it and knew what to do. And I would probably say yes, because who can say no to a big party? My roommate happened to say to me casually in passing, wow, Jen, you have become a professional bridesmaid. And the whole thing just went off in my head, and I was like, oh my God, professional bridesmaid. Maybe I could do this job for strangers. But let's be real, the idea is absolutely crazy. And if I told anybody, they would probably be like, Jen, it's time you get a new hobby, maybe a dog or a plant, something else to do with your life. Do not pursue this. So I didn't tell anybody. Because when you start a business, I think you don't have to tell anybody your idea or that you're going to start it or when you're going to launch it. I think you just need to do it. So it was a Friday night. I opened my computer and I said, where's the best place to try out a business idea? Craigslist.com. Which is also the #1 place my mom said never ever go to for anything. But, you know, we never listen to our mothers, of course. So I went on Craigslist, I opened up a new post, and I wrote an ad saying, I'm Jen Glantz, and I will be your bridesmaid. Whether you need someone to be there to lift up your dress while you pee, or you need someone to dance with your uncle, or you just need someone to listen to you talk when you're becoming a bridezilla, I'm that girl for you. I pressed post, I closed my laptop, I spent my Saturday and my Sunday with my friends, ate a lot of pizza, went to the library, did nothing. Probably went on a terrible first date or something. And nothing happened. I didn't tell anyone about this idea, thought nothing was going to come from it, just put the idea out there in the universe on Craigslist.com. Monday morning, I'm at my full-time job. I worked at a tech startup as a copywriter, and I get a G chat from a friend who says, oh my God, look at this BuzzFeed article. It's about a girl anonymously putting herself on Craigslist as a professional bridesmaid. This girl is you. And I was like, OMG, it is me. And she's like, I know, you should have done this. She thought of your idea before you did it. And I was like, oh my God, no, that's me. And no one's going to believe me. And I called BuzzFeed. I was like, that's me. Here's proof. I wrote this ad. From BuzzFeed, about 150 other places picked up the ad and the story within 3 days. I had reporters coming to my place of work. I had them calling my parents' house in Florida. I had them knocking on my 1-bedroom apartment in New York City, begging to talk to me, which sounds really great because you'll learn PR is awesome, but it wasn't great because I didn't have a business. I had an idea. And I was also a poetry major, so it wasn't even like I knew how to start a business. I didn't even know what you do when you start a business. I Googled ridiculous things like how to start a business, what's step number 1. But I said to myself, let me check my inbox. As I posted this ad, let me see if there are people responding that are not reporters. I checked my inbox, and I had over 400 emails from brides all around the world. Of course, mixed into those emails were creepy guys that wanted to go on dates, because I don't know why, but these brides were opening up to me about parts of their life they could not tell anybody else. They were asking for help that they could not turn to close friends to, or they did not have close friends to turn to. And right then and there was proof that there was a problem, and this business was solving that problem. Yes, it was ridiculous. Yes, it seems crazy. Yes, people want to know all the time, who doesn't have friends to be their bridesmaid? That's not the problem. The problem is people tell strangers things they cannot tell their friends. And sometimes you rely on strangers for things you can't for your friends. And weddings are a very emotional time, and sometimes you just need somebody there for you, and that's what this business was going to help.
I have some.
Okay, great. But the best part about it was just reading through those emails was how I figured out a business plan. I put together packages based on what the needs were that were coming straight into my inbox. And from there, I booked my first client. She lived in Minnesota. I got on an airplane. I stood beside her on her wedding day just 2 months after meeting her through this Craigslist ad. Last year alone, I worked with over 40 brides, maid of honors, and bridesmaids. I have every kind of package from an undercover maid of honor package where I take on the role of the maid of honor for you, and the bride has no idea. I have a bridesmaid boot camp package where I whip your butt into shape, not physically, but more so letting you know how to be a bridesmaid, what you can say no to, and how to not spend every dime in your savings account. I have many packages for brides, one of which is where I do walk down the aisle, put on the dress, and stand by your side. It has been an incredible adventure, but about 9 months into starting the business, I found myself thinking to myself, what are you doing? You have no idea how to run a business. You've been fooling the world. You've been pulling things together. It's like when you make a collage, you pull from here, here, and here, and tape it all together and hope it looks pretty. And it was pretty, it was shiny, but deep down inside, the core was starting to fumble. I didn't know what to do next. I didn't know how to expand. I didn't know how to build out a full business plan. I was one employee. I had no clue what to do. I had a panic attack in my bedroom, right down the street here, actually, and I didn't know what to do next. So I turned to Google, and I Googled free business tutors in New York City. Because asking for help, especially as a female, is terrifying. You want to portray yourself as being this strong, fierce female leader, but sometimes you're not. And the thought of asking for help makes you feel weak. It makes you feel like you don't know what you're doing, and you might as well go back to working in a cubicle job. But that's not the case. If you don't ask for help, you will find yourself suffering. You will find yourself not strong at all. So I Googled for help, and long story short, the city of New York matched me with a tutor. He was 83 years old. Thank you, New York City. And he was my business tutor. And really quickly, what he taught me that saved me and my business about 9 months in was that when you're starting a business, no matter how hard you've worked on it, or how many different things you've done, or how successful you've been, none of that matters. What he wanted to know day one that I couldn't tell him was, what's your biggest failure? What are you failing at? Are you failing every single week? If not, you're not running a business. If not, you're not successful. And his goal was to teach me that you need to fail. You need to set yourself up for failure. You need to go out and do things not because you're going to succeed at the end, because you're going to try them out, and they should fail. Which is a crazy concept, because who talks about failure? I mean, who's like, hi, I'm Jen, here's how I failed today in my business. Most people are like, hi, I'm Jen, I made X amount of money this month, I have this amount of clients, I'm rocking the world. The truth is, every business person, every entrepreneur is suffering, is failing, can hardly pay their bills, even if they're making a giant sum of money, but nobody talks about it. So he makes me go there every week and report my failures. And let me tell you, it's very hard to do, because when you fail as a human being, you push it inside of you. You don't talk about it, you don't express it, it happens, and you dig it deep inside of you. You don't post it on Instagram. I mean, that's crazy. Who's going to like a photo of you crying about your failure? But it's true, and I have failed so many times. I just launched a new package last week. I priced it way too high. I emailed it to 10,000 people, and it failed. But you know what? It was the first time I launched a package like that. I didn't realize the price was too high, but if I sat there inside and said, oh, I'm not sure, what should I do, and never did anything, I would regret. I would rather fail than regret. And that's a huge, huge part of starting a business, especially when you don't have a strong foundation and you started it from scratch. The other thing that I can tell you about my experience personally is that I don't believe in waiting for the right moment. Is there ever going to be a right moment for a professional bridesmaid business to launch? No. I could have marinated this idea for 6 to 8 months and launched it when I was ready and asked for advice from friends, but I never would have done it. And it's the same with any business idea in your head. There's never a right time. Never say to yourself, by December 1st, I'm going to launch. No, start today. Put the website up today. Do something today. Create the Instagram account. Go buy the first model of the product. Start right now. You will never have a good time. You will never be ready enough. You will never be smart enough, brave enough, or ready to start a business. You will just be what you are right now. And truthfully, that's all you need. Because you want to go out there and make mistakes. You want to learn, but you want to start now because life's too short. And 6 months from now, you might be living somewhere else. You might be married. You might be in a different financial position. You might not be able to start. But right now, you can go home and start. There's absolutely no excuse. You can shut off Netflix. You can tell your boyfriend you'll see him tomorrow, and you can start the business right now. That's what I did with the Craigslist ad. People still call me crazy. Some people call me genius. I think that I'm leaning toward the crazy part, but crazy genius. But honestly, it's been the best experience of my life. It has not been easy. It has not been glamorous. It has been a punch in the gut almost every single day you start your own business, but let me tell you, it is incredibly worth it. As a woman, it is so empowering. You look at yourself in the mirror and you say to yourself, you own your life. I mean, just that alone is worth every bad day you had as an entrepreneur. So that's my story.